Wolverines! If you've ever bought a new red dot for your handgun, but you couldn't shoot it because you didn't know what you were doing, go ahead and hit that like or subscribe button. Guys, today we're out here on the flat range and we're gonna be showing you guys a good example and a bad example of how to shoot red dots on your handgun. I'll show you the gun that we will be shooting. It doesn't really matter. Any red dot will have the same exact fundamentals that I'll show you today. This one just happens to be a Hollow Sun 507 comp on my Staccato C2. It is my competition gun, my home defense, or my, I guess, yeah, technically, my home defense handgun, and it is my everyday carry Staccato C2. So, guys, if you want to support the channel, do all the things, join the Discord server through the Patreon. That's $5 a month. If you want to be a member of a community and hang out and talk shit on guys that buy bad guns or whatever, well, that's where you're going to do it, in the Patreon. So first and foremost, when you get your red dot, a lot of guys are not tightening them down to spec. What does that mean? Well, if you don't have the proper gauges and tools, all you need to know is Loctite it on the gun. Make sure you have the appropriate mounting plate. This one is an example of a Dawson precision mounting plate. Just make sure whatever gun you're using, you tighten it down properly. Okay, you're not monkeying it on there. Tighten it down properly and apply Loctite. That way the dot stays on target and stays on the gun appropriately, okay? Now, what a lot of guys are doing, and I'll just kind of show them. What a lot of guys are doing is they don't understand what an index point is. An index is just a proper grip. Once you establish a proper index or a proper grip on the gun, that will show you a whole new world. That'll show you a whole new world of handgun shooting. This is what a lot of guys are doing. They're drawing the gun and they're looking for the dot and they can't find it. That's because they don't have a proper index point. Now, this just happened with Nighthawk today on the range. I'm proud of you. I don't understand what an index point is. I don't understand. I'm gripping the gun right, but I can look at the gun, and typically if you cannot find the dot, it's low and left. It's because you have not developed a proper index on the handgun. So I'm gonna show you what I mean. One more time. This is what guys are doing. We'll say the beeper goes off. Maybe. Okay, they begin to bring the pistol up, but they have a weak grip and they're not looking at the target. They're looking at the dot, they find the dot, then they bring the dot on target. That is bad. That is stupid. You should not be doing that. You should be target focused, not dot focused. Another way I can easily tell if you are dot focused and not target focused, let's say I'm going to engage multiple targets. I find the dot, boom, and then I bring the dot, and then I bring the dot. That way I don't lose the dot. You see the difference? This is what you should be doing. Look at the target, dot's there, target, 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 okay? You should be target focused, not dot focused. Now, dot occlusion can help that a lot. Typically speaking, for dry fire, if you tape up the front of your dot, now we'll just try to show them. If I were to tape up the front of this, you should still be able to see, I guess I'll aim it near a target. You should still be able, here, I'll actually aim it at the target. There you go. So if you want to get behind it, you should be able to see the target with the dot presenting itself near the target, right? I don't know if you guys will be able to see that, but that is the purpose of dot occlusion. Let's go live and we'll show them a little bit more, okay? So if you're confused so far, target focused, not dot focused. Stop trying to find the dot. Develop an index point, have a good firm grip. This is a good example. Okay, the second I saw red flash on target, I fired. Let's do it one more time. Okay, the second I see red flash on target, I'm firing. One more time. Okay, now I'm gonna give you a bad example. This is gonna be me looking for the dot. Okay, now, a couple things to note. The dot should not be perfectly still on target. That is good for target shooting, but if you're trying to be fast and shoot quickly, same word, just different. If you're trying to be fast and you're trying to shoot effectively, you should not have a solid dot. It should look like a flash of red. It should flash across the target. The best way to give that an example of that is going to be over here on the plates. So we'll transition over to these 6 plates, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So a standard plate drill, this is a good example. I'll show you what it would look like if I were to wait for the dot to be perfect, and then we'll go full speed on what you should do. So this will be a bad example. It looked fast. The time was 5.17. It may have looked fast, but I'll walk and we'll talk. It may have looked fast, but what was happening was I was waiting for that dot to become completely stable, completely still, right? Not like that single mom working her way through college to be a stripper, right? So your dot should not be like a stripper. It should not be stable. It should be flashing from target to target. Now I'm going to show you an example of what it should look like if you're effectively shooting your red dot. And I'll wait for Nighthawk to get in position. I will top off my magazine. This is what it should look like if you're going from target to target appropriately. Okay, time 3.96. Okay, now the reason why it was faster is because that dot was streaking across. Okay, the dot was streaking across from target to target. I wasn't waiting for it to completely settle down and grow up and get married in its 30s. I don't want it to be stable, right? I don't want it to be stable. So I do want a stripper dot. Does that make sense? I want that thing to be flashing across there like that stripper working her way through college for her medical degree. I'm going to go ahead and reset the targets again, and I'll show you a bad example one more time, and then a good example one more time. And yes, this thing is broken. Super unfortunate for us, but it will still serve the purposes that we need. So I'll show you one more bad example, and then we'll go to a good example. Watch out behind you. You're about to run into the tripod. And then we will move on for another example. Make sure our gun is good. Okay, this will be a bad example. Okay, time 5.01. 5.01, okay? That's super freaking slow, and I guess Nighthawk's gonna go down range. That's super slow, and the reason why it's slow is because I'm allowing that dot to completely stop and get a perfect, crisp little dot. That's not what we want, okay? We don't want the 30-year-old nurse that's already worked her way through college. We want the stripper that's still working her way through college that's flashing across the screen. That dot that flashes across the screen is gonna be the one that you want, okay? We'll show you a good example, and then I'll move on to one more thing that you need to know for shooting red dots effectively. Okay, good example. Okay, I had one miss there, but time 4.37. Of course, that miss added a little bit of time, but that will still serve as an example. Okay, let's move over here, and this will be the last thing we'll talk about for you guys to get you set up for success on your red dot shooting journey. So we have 2 targets, right? Pretty self-explanatory. You can count to 2, I can count to 2, it's a good deal. But here's the thing. When you're transitioning from target to target, what a lot of guys are doing is they're finding the dot and they get so attached. It's like, again, to use a stripper analogy, they get so attached to the dot, they don't want to let it go. So they try to hold on to it. And when they try to hold on to it, what I mean by that, they get so attached, I'm on target, I see the dot, they try to take the dot with them, right? To the courthouse, to marry it. And I may paint, do you think I should paint this up for him, or do you think it's good?
I think it's fine.
Okay, so this is a bad example. This is me getting attached to that stripper. Okay, that was in a 2.82. I'll do it one more time, bad example. Okay, I'm getting so attached to that stripper that what am I doing? I'm taking it with me to college, I'm taking it with me in later life. This is what you want to do. You want to leave it behind. Have your fun. Okay, I had my fun, I left it behind. 1.97, a lot faster. Leave the stripper behind. have my fun, but leave it behind, okay? That was in a 1.82. Does that make sense? So you're not finding the dot on target and then taking it with you. Leave it. Go from dot, look at your next target, drive the gun, and the dot will appear. I'll try to give one more example. Okay, awesome. Some sort of strange malfunction has occurred with the staccato, which is awesome. Okay, let's make sure the staccato is not dead. It is getting a little bit dirty. Okay, there you go. So I'll give that example one more time. Okay, that is what you want to do as we drop bullets all over the place. Okay, last thing. Target focus, not dot focus. It kind of goes in line with the same sort of story where dude gets so obsessed with said dot that he doesn't want to look at anything else other than the dot. If you're looking at the dot, you're not going to be able to effectively engage follow-on targets, right? I'll show you an example from over here. Let's move over a little bit. So here's a good example. We have 4 targets set up here: the small plate, the E-type, the E-type, and the E-type. If I were to get target focused, this is what target focus would look like. Or as I was, this is what dot focus would look like. If I were to get dot focus and marry that stripper. Okay, you could tell, yes, was it accurate? Yeah, of course it was accurate. I'm jettisoning bullets all over the place. Of course it was accurate because I was taking the dot and I was taking it with me to the next target. I don't want to do that. I'll show you what I do want to do. That's what you want to do. How much faster was that? That was in a 3.28. I don't know if I told you the first time. Doesn't matter. So, what have we learned here today? And Nighthawk, do you have any questions or like things that they might be thinking? Other than there's a lot of talk about strippers today.
Yeah, I'm clearly where your mind is.
Right. So, bottom line up front. You want to be target focused, not dot focused. You don't want to just stare at the dot ever. You just want to look at the target. The dot should never stop moving. Okay? That's where a lot of guys are making mistakes. They're getting the dot on target and they're letting it just sit there. No, it should be flashing across. So if you want to shoot an A zone, the dot should just flash as it gets in here. As the dot approaches, fire, and then it will hit the A zone. You don't need a movie. If you think of like what a red dot would look in a movie or a video game, that's not what it should look like. It should not look like a crisp little circle. It should look like a flashing, streaking stripper flying across your face, because that is exactly what your red dot, how it will perform, okay? All right, so I'll give one more example with, I guess, the targets here, and then we'll let them get out of here. This will be a bad example. Bad example of me being dot focused. Okay, super accurate, right? But 5.55, super slow. Let's do what we're supposed to do. Okay, way faster, 3.41, because I'm letting the dot streak across the screen. Guys, if this was helpful, hit the like button, share it with a buddy that sucks at shooting red dot, and I will see you guys in the next installment of whatever I decide to rant about on the flat range. I'm gonna burn it down before you cut. Oh my gosh, bill drill. Okay, until next time, it's gonna be Trench Grenade and Nighthawk, your average red dot shooting enjoyers that your mom said that we have at home, signing out. Cheers.
Wolverines!